Hawa, Hawa. Much love to the family, much love to the tribe. Welcome back for another episode of Templar Up. I am your Templar Urban Reeve. Today we're gonna continue to dig on where we left off. Just to do a quick recap, we were talking about Prester John, the Dragon 9, and when we were digging on it, we covered the words relating in the search for Prester John, and today we're going to do a zoom in focus on a particular word. And like with everything, that we're digging on, a lot of it has to do with sound, frequency, energy, and vibration. And as we're putting together our history and our timeline, and not just history and timeline, but all information, one thing you notice is that a lot has to do with who you are, my so-called Negro. Now, this is going to be, let me state this first, because we're going to touch bases on a topic that, excuse me, on a topic that I don't want to say is controversial, but enlightening. You may feel a certain type of way. And the reason why I bring this up is because if you're just belly flopping into the information, and you're brand new to everything, and you're trying to get a grasp of everything, a lot of the information can seem a little cosmic, can seem a little far out there. But when you surf the wave, when you do your homework, when you connect the dots, when you see how these various topics that you've been taught have no relation to each other are actually foundational principles of one another. And this is where, we're getting into your timeline loops, distortions in history, the same stories being replayed over and over again, and all these different patterns, as it were. So the reason why I bring that up is because I don't want you to ever think or take my word for anything. The reason why I do what I do the way that I do it is because I took the advice of others, which is, stop and pause the videos, pull up the information yourself, read the information yourself, go read the fine print, go read the references, search for your indigenous truth, and then share what you learned with everybody else. And you hear the it's almost cliche now, do your own homework, do your own research. And but one of the things here is this: I appreciate anybody who takes my word for it. I would hope that you have an understanding of me, that I wouldn't waste my time if I didn't think it was important. But the reality here is that I have a greater hope that you would actually do your homework, and that way to show yourself approved, but also to reprove me and make sure that my information is lining up and is in order. Because then we're talking about simply two sticks, okay? Talking about the top. And a lot of people don't get it, but your two sticks, can be, interpreted a lot of different ways. Mathematically, we say addition and multiplication cross sticks. But if you notice, you get this with this crossing, right? This crossing over, crossing sticks. You hear this with the blessings of Esau and Jacob and what have you, the crossing of hands and things of that nature, right? But two sticks is also, uh, the equal sign, meaning that you're parallel. And if what I'm digging on and showing is parallel to what you've learned or what you're digging on, then the equation is being balanced. You see how that works? So, in any case, so continuing on, what we're going to do today is we're going to zoom in on a particular oppressor, John, in our search for the DraKhan in one of these words, and we're going to zoom in on this particular, and just like before, we're going to build this flower of life off this particular, and you're going to be pretty amazed what you come up with. Now, the thing over here is this: we're digging on Anon Ben David, connecting that to Black Moses, trying to fix the timelines and what have you. But I think that we take for granted a lot of the story and traditions of Moses. And before I can really dig in deeper into the Moses anomaly, we're going to touch bases on this, and it's going to be a pretty far journey. Now, please understand, be firm, fixed, and immovable, and know that there's only the 9 and the new. There's only the Decalogue and this Emerald Tablet of Law. You have to pick your law, and you have to operate in that law. And since we believe in Hawa, since we are in the search for David, our king, we're going to do this by the 9s. Now, what we've always been taught is that, what the Jesus hijacker tell you, that if you can't understand these simple things, then how can you expect to understand these heavenly things? And I think that that's backwards. And I'm going to attempt to try to explain something that's kind of very heavenly, very cosmic, as it were. But you need to understand that so you can understand how things operate in the natural here on Earth. Okay. Now, starting things off, we have this here, and this really is a summary of what we're going to get into today. The scripture on the artwork is, "The angel of Hawa encampeth round about them that fear him, and delivereth them." Psalms 34:7. Okay. Now, Irvin, what do you mean? What are we getting into today? Well, today we're going to focus on this word here, meteor. Okay, meteor. Now, okay, in general sense, a body that flies or floats in the air, and in a sense, it includes rain, hail, snow, etc. But in a restricted sense, in which it is commonly understood. Okay. So your understanding of the word meteor itself is taught to you in an extremely restricted sense. Okay. Now, it also states, number 2, a fiery, luminous body in appearance flying or floating in the atmosphere or in a more elevated region. We give this name to the brilliant globes or masses of matter, which are occasionally seen moving rapidly through the atmosphere, and which throw off with loud explosions fragments that reach the earth and are called falling stones. We call by the same name those fireballs, which are usually denominated falling stars, supposed to be owing to gelatinous matter inflated by phosphorated hydrogen gas. Also, the lights which appear over moist ground in graveyards, called ignis factui, which are ascribed to the same cause, and meteor-like flame lawless through the sky. And it's amazing how, if you notice, they just kind of add this as if it's a new paragraph. But the structure says that this here goes with this here. Okay? Now, this down here is an expanded of this here. But despite the fact, what's here is still in a restricted sense. Okay? And why is that? Because everything is about sounds. Sound, right? Get about etymology. Meteor, late 15th century. Any atmospheric phenomenon. Middle French meteor, 13th century, and directly from medieval Latin meteorum, nominative meteora, from Greek ta meteora, the celestial phenomenon, things in heaven above, plural of meteoron, literally thing high up, noun use of neuter of meteoros, adjective high up, raised from the ground, hanging, from meta by means of, see meta, plus aros, lifted, hovering in the air, related to Aryan, to raise, from the pi root word, star, W-E-R dash, in the first sense, to raise, lift, hold, suspend. Okay? Now, when in the last chapter, I highlighted that most people probably don't understand that meta is by means of. So when you're hearing, your current incarnation of idol worships with these superheroes, you'll hear a term meta-human. That means that these people are by means of human beings. In DC Comics they call them meta-human, and they're even doing a series right now talk about Batman or DC Metal. Okay, and then you have in Marvel Comics you have meta-human is considered a mutant. Okay, your X-Men, as it were, right? Now, we're going to dig on this because when I was researching this word meteor, something really, really interesting comes to light. Now, let's dig on it. Meta. Okay. Word forming element. Meaning, number one, after, behind. Okay. 2, changed, altered. 3, higher, beyond. From Greek, meta, preparatory. In the midst of, in common with, by means of, between, in pursuit or quest of, after, next after, behind. In compounds, most often meaning change of place, condition, etc. This is from pi, star me dash, which is me, okay, in the middle. Now, real quick, when you read the Sumerian tablets, the Sumerian gods, as it were given these powers and skills that they call the Mies. Okay, just wanted to bring that out to you. Okay, in the middle. All right, let's keep it moving. Source also German, mit, Gothic, myth, Old English, mid, with, together with, among, see, mid. Okay, a notion of changing places with. Okay, probably led to senses, change of place, order, or nature. So that means it's a change of place, change of order, or change of nature. You get it? Which was the principal meaning of the Greek word when used as a prefix, but also denoting, check this out, community, participation, in common with, pursuing. Okay? Third sense, higher than, transcending, overarching, dealing with the most fundamental matters of, is due to the misinterpretation of metaphysics as a science of that which transcends the physical. This is why it's important for you to have your DraKhan science, your American science. Use your dragonfly perspective and understand that these words have power, but they only have power in so much that you understand the sound, the pi, the seed, or the 9. So when you talk about all these metaphysical brothers, they're using a misinterpretation. Okay? Now, and this is how this meta is perceived today, through this misinterpretation. This is why everything else gets jacked up. But there's still a drop back in here we're going to get into, because there's again, choose your own law behind this meta, and we're going to get into it. All right. Now, this has led to a prodigious, erroneous extension in modern usage, with meta affixed to the names of other sciences and disciplines, especially in the academic jargon of literary criticism. Okay, what is academic jargon? What is the role of the alchemist? We have this order of the black robes. There is also an order of the white robes, and there is also an order of the red robes. They're all a part of the same quote-unquote magical order, but they have their own agenda. Okay. Now let's dig on it. Sorry about that, y'all. All right. So let's dig on the this mid, because we're gonna get to the pie. All right. Mid, prep, an adjective in Old English. Mid, with, in conjunction with, in company with, together with, among. From Proto-Germanic medja, jaz, source also of Old Norse midir, Old Saxon midi, Old Frisian midi, Old High German miti, Gothic midgis, mid meaning mid or middle, from pi root medhio, meaning middle. Okay, now surviving in English, okay, only as a prefix, mid-air, midstream, etc. As a preposition, it often is shortened a form of amid, compare midshipman. We're just gonna go right to the pie. Check this out. Star MEDHYO dash medhio, Proto-Indigenous European root meaning middle. Okay, perhaps related to, check this out, star ME in the second, to measure, or what? To rule. Okay, the standard by which. Okay, now check this out. This meta, when we dig on it, has two different indigenous roots, but they're very similar. Again, it's the law of duality, law of polarity. Okay, this is why in your Picto-Paleo, words can mean both the positive as well as the negative, and be juxtaposed, but not be in conflict or in duel with each other. Now check out. What do you get? This forms all a part of a mid, intermediate, mean, the second adjective, occupying a middle or intermediate place. Okay. Metal. Medial. Median. Mediate. Medieval. Bang. Right? Mediocre. Mediocre, excuse me. Mediterranean. Medium. Meridian. Messic. Mesial. Mezzo. Meson. Or Mason. Right? Mesopotamian. Mesopotamia. Right? Meso. And we came across a couple of these words before other drops. Mid, middle, Midgard. Now this is what your Norse, your Zeus or your Baal or your Saturn, Satan in the Norse mythology is your Odin. But he comes just like all the others in three forms, and this is where you get the pillar of the boatman, and three guys displayed on that, and that is where you get Odin, Thor, and Isus. Okay, but according to the Norse mythology, they call Earth Midgard. You know, you're in Middle Earth. Okay. Midriff, Midwife, Mileu, Minge, Mizzen, Mayot, Moyete, I don't know what that is, and William. Okay, hypothetical source of evidence for its existence provided by Sanskrit Madhya, Avestan Madhya, Middle Greek Mesos, Latin Medius, in the middle, between, from the middle, Gothic Midges, Old English mid, middle, Old Church Slavonic Medzu, between, Armenian Mej, middle. Okay, so let's dig on this other perhaps related real quick. Okay, me, star, M-E, dash, for the second, me, Proto-Indigenous, Proto-Indo-European root meaning, to measure. Some words may belong instead to the root med, which we was just, no, we didn't dig on yet. We're going to get into that too. So now we have this meta having the Proto-Indigenous root medio, or perhaps me. Okay, let's keep digging on it. To take appropriate measures. It forms all a part of amenoria, the centimeter, commiserate, diameter, dimension, gematria, geometry, immense, isometric, meal, okay, food, time for eating, measure, menarche, meniscus, menopause, menses, menstrual, menstruate, meter, okay, meter again, and meter again, okay. So we have the meter as far as the poetic measure. We have meter as the unit of length. We have meter as a device for measuring, okay. What is a device? A device is simply a noun, a person, a place, or a thing, okay. But the word noun itself goes back to Anan, or Anand and David, okay. Look at this. Metus, metric, metrical, metronome, metry, Monday. You found a day of the week, right? How is it that you have to take appropriate measures connected to the middle, the word meaning in the middle, but yet the word we have today is Monday? Month, moon, parameter, pentameter, perimeter, piecemeal, semester, symmetry, thermometer, trigonometry, trimester. Again, I can't express to you enough. Everything that you've been taught is the same thing, just taught in the frequency of 440, which would duplicate and copy itself over and over and over again. But you're really learning the same thing, just in a different frequency, energy, and vibration. Or what? A different sound. Or a different spell. Let's keep going. Med, proto-indigenous root meaning take appropriate measure. It formed all or part of. Accommodate, accommodation. Commode, commodious, commodity. Empty, moderate, and modest. Medea, Medes and Persians, right? Okay. Medical, medicament, medicaster, medicate, medication, medicine, mediate, meditation, Medusa, meat, proper fitting, meat, to a lot. Okay? Again, this has a lot to do with ruling, if you notice. Okay? Modal, mode, model, moderate, modern, modest, modicum, modify, modular, modulate, vibration, right? Modulation, mold, hollow shape. He mold you out of the earth, right? You are a vessel, a cup, a temple. Mood, okay? Grammatical form indicating the function of a verb. What mood? So it's a difference between saying, and this is vibration. I can say, man, I love you, and you can be like, oh, or I can be like, I love you too, nigga. And you can be like, well, damn. The mood don't match the function of the verb, or it does match, but it changes because of the vibration. Must, it's a must. Okay, premeditate, premeditation, remediation, remedy. Okay, it is hypothetical source of evidence. For its existence is provided by the Sanskrit dear, I judge, estimate, estevan, mod, physician, Greek, medomai, be mindful of, medethai, think about, median, to rule, medan, ruler, Latin, mediatari, think or reflect on, consider, modus, measure, manner, modestus, moderate, modernus, modern, mederi, to heal, give medical attention to, cure. Now, notice, I'm going back to Anam and David, right? And him quoting Moses when we get down here to the science part, right? Now, this guy if he's Moses, seems to have a firmer grip on what the hell he's talking about. Okay? When he's saying to forbid the use of medicines and of medical aid in general, for it is written, I, God, am thy physician. Because there is a difference when we go back to the root of his medical to take appropriate measures. Everything don't need to be medicated. Okay? You need to meditate. There's a remedy. You see what I'm saying? You have to be in the right mood. Proper fitting. You see how that works? Okay, so now why do I bring this up? Because again, we're talking about energy, frequency, and vibration, and everything. Going back to this Dragon 9. So one of the things that you come across is this guy here, Metatron. Okay. Now, Metatron is an archangel in Judaism and known in Judaism as the recording angel or the chancellor of heaven, which makes Adramelech his infernal counterpart. The name Metatron is not mentioned in the Hebrew Bible, okay? Nor is it mentioned in the early Enoch literature. However what? Well, we're going to dig on it because this is important, okay? Now, let's see what this is about. Metatron, Hebrew, probably derived from the Latin meteor, okay? One who meets out or marks off a place, a divider or an fixer of boundaries, measure, right? Although several other suggestions exist, or Metatron is an archangel in Judaism and known in Judaism as the recording angel and chancellor of heaven, which makes art on we just went over that. The name Metatron is not mentioned in the Hebrew Bible, nor is it mentioned in the early Enoch literature. How the name originated is a matter of debate. Although Metatron is mentioned in a few brief passages in the Talmud, he appears primarily in mystical Kabbalistic texts within the rabbinical literature. In that tradition, he is the highest of the angels and serves as the celestial scribe or recording angel. According to Jewish Apocrypha, Metatron is the name of who? Enoch, received after his transformation into an angel. The book of Genesis 5:24 is often cited as evidence of Enoch's bodily ascension into heaven. He was transfigured, right? He was translated, they say. He took on a heavenly body, and Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. Now, before we all getting our Jesus happy dance, there's 2 Enochs in the Bible. And until recently, because the texts are being the texts are being unsealed by the prophets of Yahweh, we have this book of Enoch. Now, it's funny, but don't you think you should choose your own Enoch? We don't know. They just attach this book of Enoch to the Enoch of Noah. Okay? And the reason why I say that and bring that up is because we have to dodge all forms of hijack. And it's real easy for us to get comfortable with the hijack because they sound like us. They talk like us. And it sounds good, but they're not us. Again, you have to choose your own law. Now, why do I bring this up? Because now we have this. Now we're getting into Metatron. Now, before we get any deeper into Metatron, real quick, let's look up the word Tron real quick. Let's dig on that first, okay? Tron, a word-forming element in compounds coined in physics, having to do with electrons or subatomic particles. 1939. Abstracted unetymologically from electron. Greek -tron was instrumentive suffix. So let's dig on electron, right? Let's go back. Where did it go? My bad, y'all. I think my mouse clicked on it. Electron. Close it out by accident. Electron. I'm on Tron, not Tron. There we go. Electron. Alright. Electron coined in 1891 by Irish physicist George J. Stoney. We keep coming across these Georges, don't we? 1826 through 1911. From electric plus on, as in ion, right? Electron microscope, 1932, translates German electron microscope. Okay? Now, let's just keep digging on it. Which, as you can see, kind of makes sense, right? Kind of makes sense. You got your electron, you got your proton, and then you have what? Your Metatron. Alright, so let's dig on ion real quick. This is just how you have to unpack just to get an understanding. When you start to see how all this stuff connects and interplays with each other, it just gets so weird. Ion, 1834, introduced by English physicist and chemist. 1834, there was no chemist in 1834. They had alchemists in 1834. Michael Faraday. Okay, this is the guy who is named the Faraday cage, right? Suggested by Reverend William Whewell, English polymath, going from the Greek ion, neuter present participle, eniat, enai, go, from the pi root star ei, to go. So called because ions move toward the electrode of opposite charge, polarity, and duality. Okay, so now let's dig on the pi. Root meaning to go. It forms all a part of all of these words. Okay, the arbiter, added, ambiance, ambient, ambitious, Dante, aeon, county, dysposium, errant, exit, initiate, ion, issue, okay, praetor, parish, obituary, Janus, January. Now, here it is. In Search for Indigenous Truth, man, I love dropping off the hijack, especially when it comes down to Satan and any chance I get. Chronos, this angel of time. When you do your Egyptian histories, and we've covered this before in my other backspins, but this Janus is the one. He's the twin brother of. He's the twin brother of Chronos, and whereas Chronos represents time, Janus represents space and placement of time. And, it goes in a little bit deeper. And this is why Zeus of the underworld and Zeus of the Sky Father, they're twins, but they're the same person because they have the same face. Well, Janus is basically like a twin, when they can join twin, and Chronos isn't, but all three of them have the same face. Same deal. Okay, transitive, viscount, sedition, sudden. Okay, now why do I bring all this up? Because we're talking about this Metatron. So in the proto-indigenous, we're talking about to take appropriate measures, to take your appropriate measures with you, or to go to appropriate measures. Okay, because one is just appropriate measures, and the other one is to take appropriate measures, or to measure, or middle, right? To go into the middle, or go by the measure. Okay. Now, why do I bring this up? Because let's get back into it. Now, Enoch 1, Book of Parable, presents two figures, the Son of Man, okay, and Enoch. At first, these two characters seem to be separate entities. Enoch used the Son of Man enthroned in heaven. Later, however, they proved to be one and the same. Many scholars believe that the final chapters of the Book of Parables are a later addition. Others think that they are not, and that the Son of Man is Enoch's heavenly double, similarly to the prayer of Joseph, where Jacob is depicted as an angel. The Book of Daniel displays two similar characters, the Ancient of Days and one like a man. Now, parts of the text in Daniel are Aramaic and may have been changed in translation. The Septuagint reads that the Son of Man came as the Ancient of Days. Okay? Now, just to kind of wrap things up here, we're only talking meteor. We're only talking about a dragon. But even when we dig on this dragon, there seems to be two. This Son of Man and Enoch. This one unlike a man and this Ancient of Days. Now I'm gonna just put it out there and remind everybody what's written in Isaiah. Okay? But this Metatron has what? Check this out. Something called the Metatron's cube. Now we're getting back into this hijack, right? We're very close to it, of this Saturnalia, this cube worship. But this Metatron is on a higher plane, right? But we're still talking what? Platonic solids. Here's your Merkaba. Here's your cube, right? And why did I bring this one up? I want to bring this one up. No, wait, go back. I want to bring this one because I wanted to show you how this is all the same stuff. Here's your Kabbalatry right here. Okay? Metatron's cube. Alright? Now, according to this, you have A, the circle, viscous, the equilateral triangle, pentagon, pentagram, hexagon, 7 days of G and H, the 7 days of creation. Okay, I, the seed of life. Now it's funny, we were talking the flower of life. Now they're calling it a seed. Then you have what? The tree of life. This is the symbol of David, the symbol of Joshua, son of Nun. Then you have K, the egg of life. Then you have L, the flower of life. That's this one here. Then you have M, the fruit of life. That's that there. And then you have what? Metatron's cube. Okay? But we're only talking meteors. Remember that. Okay? Now, we're only talking Enoch when we're talking meteors. Now, I want you guys to dig on this. Dig on this Metatron. Understand who we're talking about. Because there's a lot of people out here that are presenting information and good and with the right intention and heart. They're trying to get to Hawaii and they're trying to do their best, but there's just so many potholes along the way where you can get dropped off real easy and caught up in the hijack. So dig on it, and we'll bring it back a little bit later. But yeah, Metatron. And who is this Metatron? Well, depending on how you look at it and how you want to research for it. But at the end of the day, this Metatron is the angel of the Lord that encampeth round about them that fear him and deliver them. We are talking dragons. We are talking about this dragon, the Dragon 9. And when we bring this back, as we continue our journey, we'll dig in more into this Enoch business and into this Metatron, because either you are dealing with either basically variations and incarnations of the Dragon 9. These are non-Ben Davids that pops up every couple hundred years, or you're dealing with the 3 times great Thoth and his variations. And did you think that you didn't have to choose your own angel? Come on, man. They want to keep everything from you. Remember that. And everything that's on the outskirts, everything that's been marginalized, you can almost bet probably deals with you. Because anything that exists enough to know about it, but yet don't exist, that's a legend. That's also 9. And 9 is also 0. And because 9 and 0 are one and the same, that means that 9 is also 1. 9 is also you. You are the fruit that holds the seed. It came from a tree. It came from the seed. Shabbatah. Halel Hawa. Halel Hawa. Hey ya, hey ya. Choose up, suit up, vibe up. Love y'all. Peace.